Hi, my name is Greg Schouten, and I work here at GPAC, and I am currently a regional manager where I oversee 6 or 7 teams right now. I've been with GPAC for 13 years, spent 9.5 years on a desk, working within the agricultural industry, and transitioned into a coaching role and did that for about 2.5 years. And here recently, as I said, I'm working in this regional role. Started with GPAC a couple years out of college, but been exposed to the business for a long time. I actually went to college with Pete Good, who's the youngest son of the owners, and was very, very good friends with him. So spent a lot of time actually in the Good household during college, hanging out with them and kind of hearing about the business. And they had asked me several times while I was in college, hey, is this where you want to end up? Didn't. Got a job in banking for a little while, and they kept chasing me every 6 months. I'd get a phone call from somebody at GPAC, and here I am. So at 25 years old, kind of decided to bet on myself and take this plunge, and here I am 13 years later. Yeah, when I decided to make a move to GPAC, in my former role working in the banking world, I'd hit kind of a glass ceiling for myself. I always thought, kind of growing up, hey, if a guy can make $60,000, $70,000, he's made it. And that's kind of where I was. But I also knew, kind of looking around that world, that's kind of where I was going to be. And that's not where I wanted to be forever. So I decided to bet on myself, came with GPAC, saw the opportunity, saw the big picture of what it could be, and told myself, hey, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit to it for at least 1 year. And after that year, I mean, things were really taking off, and been here ever since. 3 to 6 months for me were very difficult in some aspects, but in other ways, it was a breath of fresh air for me too, from what I had been doing before. I'm gonna sound a little bit like an old man on my lawn, but when I started 13 years ago, I mean, we didn't have LinkedIn, we didn't have all these fancy tools, so it was a different world. Literally just making phone calls every day and sending bulks out and whatnot. And I actually didn't make my first placement until I was 8 months in. So there were some ups and downs, definitely times during that where I thought, why did I ever leave where I was before? I should go back there. But kept the support around, like people let me know, like, hey, if you stick with this, like, good things will happen. The nice thing was, I mean, yeah, it took 8 months for me to find my stride, but from there, it never really stopped. I would say the hardest thing about this job as a recruiter is there is really no finish line. Like, you are always gonna have to find the next deal. That's how we get paid. So even though you have a great week, you have a great month, you have a great year, you're still always chasing the next deal. So it's very important when I was on a desk and as a coach to be setting goals, like small goals here, like, hey, like each month we need to have X amount, each week, like we're shooting for this, so that we can establish finish lines, so that when we run through that tape, we feel really good. We know we got run another race after that. But to understand taking small victories day in, day out, setting plausible goals that we can accomplish and keep looking to improve ourselves every day. This isn't a job that always gives instant gratification. We're not selling cell phones to people where you just hand it out the door. Some of these processes take a while, so people that understand a big picture and how that works and building something for yourself. And also very much business minded. We want anybody who takes this job to view it as their own business. We're gonna provide all the financial backing, we're gonna provide all the tools, all the support that's there, but ultimately, I want you to really view this as it's your own business, where day in, day out, like, we're not paying you, you're paying yourself, and this is a really nice partnership. I had come to a point, and again, like kind of like my journey to come to GPAC, where they had come and we'd had the conversation several times, like, hey, like, are you ready to be a coach? Are you ready to be a coach? And at that time, like, I just still felt like I had things to accomplish on a desk that I wanted to get done. And so the two biggest points to really take that plunge into coaching, number one, like understanding the vision of who we are as a company and where we're going, and seeing at that point the growth pattern that we were on was something that, like, I wanted to be a part of. Like, it had been really cool to be on a desk and be a part of a team that was growing, but to be able to go to the next level and be a bigger part of the corporate picture to grow was very intriguing to me. So being able to be in that position where taking the time to understand why a recruiter is here, being able to talk to them about their family, about why they're doing this, about what their goals are, having first and secondary goals of, like, okay, we're gonna do this, but if we do that, then we're gonna be able to do this, and really looking at the big picture with them And having recruiters understand that, like, day in, day out, that is the ultimate goal. We want to put people in the best position to succeed. Obviously, I mean, personal gain is great, but I mean, most people are here to better themselves financially also. So to put people on good inventory, put people on good plans, it's rewarding, but it all has to start with understanding your people, being able to communicate, and understanding. I guess a big step for me as a coach also to be a good coach is understanding how to communicate with the team, but also understanding that each person on your team has to be communicated with differently. You got to be proactive to talk with your coach daily, but really look from day one to form bonds with people on your team. Identify people that are working in your same niche, and really look. And we do our utmost within teams. I know when I was running a team, yes, we would have large video calls with all 25, 26 people. But there was also subsets within that team too, where 4 to 6 people on calls as well. And then you start to get some different types of bonds that are going there as well, which I think is very, very powerful, because any job would be very difficult if you were just in a room all day completely by yourself. But especially in today's world with video calls, phone, all of that, if somebody truly wants to be connected, they can be, absolutely. So as a coach and now as a regional, I'm very involved with the hiring process. And the toughest thing with GPAC, I mean, we are a company that prides ourselves in finding other companies the exact right employee that they want. But there is no set background, which is beautiful, that guarantees somebody will be successful. There's a lot of intangibles that come. If you look at the history of the top tier recruiters here, they have different backgrounds. We've seen former athletes. We've seen somebody who drove a Schwann's truck. We've seen somebody that was a pastor. We saw somebody that managed a finish line, all of those things. So it's hard to know that exact background on paper. Biggest advice I have with that is really evaluate yourself on a daily basis and look at it and really understand, what did I do today to make my desk, to make my position better than it was yesterday?